Welcome to another episode of Sports Talk. I'm here with brother Mustafa, and today we're going to discuss what is up with these old heads. Specifically in the NBA, but what is up with these old heads? Come on now. Put some respect on the young players' names. There's far more better on average. The next generation will be even better. But somehow these old heads can't get out of the fact that these players are better than them. They can't get that. I don't understand what it is. Like, what about that do you not understand?
It's crazy. It's all started from what's his name? Stephen A. Smith. That's why we decided to do this. And Skip Bayless and all them. These old heads think that, specifically for basketball, the 80s was like war.
Yeah.
They're having a war out there. They're playing football. Now all of a sudden all NBA players can go join football. Yeah, but no football player can go to the NBA. That can't happen. Come on.
Can't take a hit. Get concussions from little pick and rolls. Little bumps in the post. They're getting concussed. They eat an elbow in the 80s and they think it's like war out there. Come on now. This isn't football.
Yeah.
This is not hockey. This is not boxing. It's not MMA. Stop trying to overhype it. It's basketball. It's a tough sport. It's a skill sport. But out of all the contact sports or the physical sports, is the least physical of them all.
And not even the sports. We're talking about like all these analysts in any sport. Other than hockey, I noticed. Hockey gives respect to the new generation. The analysts and the former players say they cannot play in today's game. But when you watch, just specifically comparing to basketball, when you watch basketball, all the old heads, Charles Barkley, Shaq, all of them. Kenny Smith, apparently. You hear what Kenny Smith said a couple of weeks ago? He said Kyrie Irving not the best handler he's seen. Because he can do it. They used to be able to do everything he does when they used to play in the park. Biggest bullshit I've ever heard in my life. Kyrie Irving is 10 times better than Kenny Smith. And Kenny Smith could not do what Kyrie Irving can do. And that era cannot do what Kyrie Irving can do.
Or what Steph Curry can do. They keep saying, like, okay, if they're allowed to shoot threes like that. No, man, you can't. With his handles, his movement, the way he shoots, you can't. I understand that there was some hand checking allowed. I understand there was more physical play, and I agree. Basketball needs to get back to a little bit more physical play because it is pretty annoying that every single thing is a foul call almost. But on average, we can see the eye test doesn't lie. The players are better. They're more skilled on average. They're bigger. They're stronger. They're faster. They have more skill. Look at the centers of today. Look at how much they can do. Look at all the moves they got in their bag. They can bring up the ball. Look at Jokic.
Yeah, and
none of you are as good as Jokic.
And then you got people like Skip Bayless, Stephen A. That think they played professional basketball or that played professional football or whatever sport they're talking about, boxing, and always criticizing. They do give props to people, but look at Skip Bayless. Spent 20 years hitting on LeBron. His whole career is based on hating on LeBron.
Yeah.
Come on. Like, give some respect. The old players are not better in any sport. Hockey, basketball, football, tennis, no sport. Like my brother's favorite player, LeBron James. He's not going to be the greatest forever. Even if you think he's the greatest.
He's not,
20, 30 years later, it might take a while. It might take like 20, 30 years. There's going to be someone way better than him. On average, all the players are going to be better than him. Just like hockey. You see Connor McDavid? You know, Wayne Gretzky, stats-wise, is a million times better than Connor McDavid. But you can ask Wayne Gretzky himself. He'll tell you he's not even close to Connor McDavid level.
Yeah, I mean, there's so much that goes into it, right? Like, I mean, we can see in football, too. Where you see what Patrick Mahomes, specifically in the quarterback position, what Patrick Mahomes, Lamar Jackson, what those guys can do. How much more athletic they are than the other quarterbacks. But for some reason, no one can be better than the old heads. Yeah. I get it. You have to play for a while. You have to break some records. I understand all that. I'm not saying every player in the NBA is better than Michael Jordan. Obviously not. That's not what I'm saying. What I'm saying is, on average, the athletes of today are better. And all I'm saying is, even if you don't think they're better, you got to put some respect on them. On their name. Like, I don't understand where all this hate's coming from. And like I said, it's specifically in the NBA. And it's specifically from the analysts that do the NBA.
Yeah, and I'm not saying the old heads, as they like to call them, are not good. They're good in their era. You can't compare eras. Like, Shaq's one of the most dominant players ever in his era. Kenny Smith is not dominant, so let's cancel that.
Charles
Charles, one of the
Barkley,
best. Stephen A. and these other analysts don't even play, and they talk about the game like they play. Like they talking shit about players that can't hit threes, talking shit about Russell Westbrook when Stephen A. took a three. Did you see that air ball?
Yeah.
Yeah. So like you gotta calm down. See, people that have never played sports will not understand what pressure can do to you. Okay, in the gym, these guys might never miss or miss layups or whatever, but when it comes to pressure in the real game, it happens sometimes. And you gotta just respect the newer generation. Like, they're better. They're smarter, they're faster, and then future generations are gonna be even better. That's how it works.
Look, they got better nutrition, better fitness, better recovery, more science to back all that up, more knowledge, education, more professionals surrounding the teams. They got everything. They got from therapists to chiropractors to doctors to every nutritionist. Everyone you can imagine is getting more and more knowledge because more and more science, more and more technology is allowing us to understand more about the human body, about recovery, about pretty much about reaching our peak athletic performance. So if everything is getting better and everyone around you is there to make you a better player, to make you a better athlete, then obviously on average you're going to be a better athlete. Like, I don't understand the problem. And they got better steroids. Let's call it spade a spade. They got better steroids. Like, it is what it is. Like, whether you think they're on steroids or not, they got better ones. Right? They're going to be better. Just athletically, they're going to be better. Skill-wise, you may think otherwise, but athletically, they will be better. There's a reason why Usain Bolt's the fastest man on earth right now. Eventually, somebody's going to be faster than him simply because of better nutrition, better training, better fitness, better recovery. They will be better. It might take time, but it's going to happen. All I'm saying is, you might not think that LeBron's the greatest. You might still think Jordan's the greatest. That's fine. That's up for debate. But to think that the average NBA player or NFL player or NHL player or anything, MLB player is not better than the 80s or 90s player, you got to be kidding me. That's ridiculous.
I don't understand why people can't just give the future generation, the people that are 19, 20, 22, 23 coming up, trying to prosper, trying to become great, some respect. How about giving them some encouragement? How about saying, yeah, you may be the best. Oh, you are better than us. Let's be honest. You know, like I only see the NHL doing this.
Yeah.
I've seen former players that are doing analyzing the game, Wayne Gretzky and other former players. I think it's Gary Roberts and Kobe Armstrong. They say we could not play in this era.
Yeah.
And their era is way more physical.
Yeah.
Way harder to play. You can't hook the guy. There's no two-line passing. You can't. The same thing. It's soft now, this hockey compared to what it used to be. But you just got to look at the skill level. You guys got to look at skill level. They're better in every aspect. And you can't just, and you shouldn't just hate on the older generation as well. You shouldn't just say, they could not shoot threes like this. Yeah, they could not because they weren't allowed to and they weren't practiced to shoot threes like this or play like this. But every sport is getting better. Like if science is improving, everything's going to improve. Recovery, the brain's going to work at a faster level. The coordination's going to be better. The quickness is going to be more. It's just unbelievable to think that you won't think future athletes are better. Like, you can think Messi, Ronaldo, LeBron are the greatest now, whatever, Djokovic, whoever other sport there is, Conor McDavid, Crosby. 20 years, might not be 10 years, might be 20, 30 years, they're going to be a lot better players.
Yeah, of course. And I think Giannis spoke about this, where he said, when LeBron said if you drop Giannis in the 1970s, he'd have 120 points or whatever. I like what Giannis said. He's like, I don't like to compare eras because that's confusing. It doesn't make any sense, right? Let's stop comparing eras. And all I'm going to ask specifically for the NBA analysts, but even for any other analysts out there for any sport, up-and-coming athletes will be better. It's simple. Just give them some respect. Today's athlete, on average, is better than yesterday's athlete. And that's all we're going to say. Thank you for listening, and this has been Sports Talk.